standing in front of my classroom, staring at my 10th grade world history textbook. The chapter title is The Vietnam War. Half my students are children of Vietnamese refugees. Their grandparents lived this history. The textbook calls it America's Longest War. My student Lynn raises her hand. Mr. Silva, why doesn't it sound like the stories my grandmother tells? I freeze. In 20 years, I've never had to answer this question. And I know I can't proceed with the lesson plan I had prepared. I'm frozen because she's right. The official version doesn't match the room I'm standing in. Right now in classrooms across America, we're so fixated on standards and test scores that we're failing to connect students to their education by ignoring the fact that this has become an increasingly global world. We teach about other cultures instead of learning with them. This isn't just outdated education. This approach to teaching could be harmful. It can lead to students feeling that their voices and stories aren't valued, and worse, being unwilling to value anyone outside their zip code. So that day I do something that terrifies me. I close the textbook, I grab a marker, and I write on the board in big letters, Vietnam, the stories we haven't heard. Who wants to add something? Lynn's hand shoots up. When I get home, I can ask for pictures of my grandma. Her classmate Marcus raises his hand. My grandfather won some kind of medal or something. He doesn't talk to me about it, but I can ask. The next day, Lynn brings in a photo, places it on a table in the middle of the room. It's lost a lot of color. It's a young woman holding a baby in front of a building with French architecture. In faded handwritten ink, it reads, Saigon, 1972. Marcus adds his grandfather's Purple Heart citation. He looks at me without his usual confidence, and he whispers, he told me he hopes I never have to see what he saw. But I can't respond to Marcus because right then Sophia walks up. I happen to know that Sophia's family fled Cambodia around this time. She quietly places a square yellow post-it on the table. She wrote one line, some stories are too painful to tell. Same war, different perspectives. We don't debate, we don't compare trauma, we document. By the end of the week, our table has 23 artifacts, including family recipes interrupted by war, letters never sent, even a draft card with the birth date May 9, 1950. My textbook sits closed on my desk. When packing up, Lynn says to me, Mr. Silva, this feels more like history. It becomes clear. What students need isn't more content, it's connection to the events in the book, to the places they happen, and to the people that live there now. But this breakthrough raises a bigger question. If her grandmother's story was so valuable to understanding Vietnam, what other stories from my class can connect us to the next unit and the next one? Shouldn't the process be just as important as the content? Now, this is different than the approach my 20 years of teaching had encouraged me to take. But my students and I are stuck in our classroom and in our community and in our perspectives. It feels like I'm driving some academic bus with no map and a bunch of 15-year-olds in the back. I wonder if the solution is connecting the classrooms where the stories are already being written. This leads me to global project-based learning, not as a technology experiment, but as a way to finish what we started in that Vietnam unit, ensuring that students never again have to choose between their lived experience and their education. We start with global cultural exchanges. Our class posts our stories to a page where students across 6 continents responded in their native languages with their own stories about food, music, family. Our project gets showcased live by a group recognizing global digital citizenship. From here, we can't turn back because now I got students from 6 continents on this bus, but also because I see Marcus struggle with translation, only to have Lynn swoop in with her expertise, Translators are part of her daily reality. But most importantly, we can't turn back because this pushes against disturbing trends where students report record levels of loneliness and anxiety, leading to disengagement in the classroom. I see something different happening in classrooms connected across borders. Now let's move past cultural exchange and look at global project-based learning. Recently, I interviewed teachers from Laos, Canada, Brazil, and the United States on a project comparing water sanitation in their local regions. While collaborating, something unplanned happens. The Brazilian students asked for feedback on the design of their evapotranspirator. This is a student-built sanitation system for remote areas near the Amazon. Kayla is a 13-year-old Compton, California middle school student. She's on their award-winning academic team. She had family lose everything in wildfires in Northern California 1 year earlier. Here's where this gets good. Kayla notices that the design traps water. These middle schoolers modify the evapotranspirator to support newly planted trees in burn areas. Right now, there's more trees growing in the burn areas because students from Brazil, 6,000 miles away, shared a sanitation design with middle school kids in urban Compton, California. This is what happens when our local kids study global issues with international partners and then look around locally to apply what they learn. Now, let me be clear. This isn't just feel-good pedagogy or lowering of academic standards. Dr. Caroline Ferguson's research on global citizenship from the University of Sydney confirms what I saw in my student Lynn's transformation. Students in globally connected projects don't just gain critical thinking and cultural competency. More than that, they learn to appreciate multiple perspectives as essential to truth, not threats to it. These aren't soft skills. These are now necessities that our interconnected world demands. Notice what's happening. Instead of consuming information, these students are co-creating knowledge. This is education as bridge building. And it's not assigned empathy. Instead, this is earned understanding and internalized compassion. In addition to time zones and translation and the nuance of tone in a language not their own, because now the process is as important as the content. Here's why this matters to everyone here, not just educators. These students become employees who can work across cultures, voters who seek to understand rather than demonize, neighbors who see diversity as strength. If you're an educator, I challenge you. Investigate an issue beyond your district this year. Start small. Find one classroom in another country and ask one shared question. If you're a local business owner, support your local schools. Seek opportunities to encounter and engage positively with cultural groups in your city. Your presence lends approval. Parents, encourage your child's curiosity about the world beyond your neighborhood. Support language learning. Model positive interactions with people who look and sound different from you. A special note to my students watching this. You are the reason I think teaching can change the world. You met me with curiosity and compassion and grace instead of judgment. Your hands remained steady, and my shaky hands transferred control over to you. You didn't just let me teach you, you taught me what education should look like. And what it should look like is you and me learning together. In reimagining education, we need to reevaluate what society truly needs. We need deeper human connections. And what we don't need is another generation trained merely to compete. We need a generation trained to collaborate and connect. Our young people are ready. Let's create business, school, and family systems that give them what they need to serve each other and to be good stewards of this shared planet. By connecting their classrooms internationally, we can give them each other. And by doing that, we can give them the world. Thank you. Thank you for being brave.